Over the past couple years, I've made millions of dollars with OpenAI's ChatGPT. But what I found today by accident was actually terrifying. It wasn't just scary, terrifying privacy invasion. It also leads to something that's going to make me millions of dollars more with this one simple thing. Only nobody's talking about it. So today, we're going to look at this secret hidden feature that is baked into ChatGPT version 5 that hardly anyone's talking about that can help you make money in a crazy new way. We're also going to talk about some warnings, some pitfalls, some things that a lot of people are ignoring that are downright terrifying. Yes, if you use ChatGPT, this affects you. And this update is going to help me make lots of money in a very simple way, but we need to look at some of the downsides first. So today, we're going to be talking about this hidden feature, what it means, how it works, how you can use it to make money, and more importantly, what not to do when talking to ChatGPT. This is super important. So if you're excited and a little frightened, smash that like button. Let's fire up ChatGPT 5 and get to work. All right, so let's dive in. This is a big one. Basically, what we're looking at today is ChatGPT memory and spying and how to make money with it. As I was going through and having a conversation with ChatGPT, I noticed that it started recalling some of the domain names and websites that I've previously worked on in other sessions. So like other times I talked to ChatGPT about something, it recalled it and remembered it. I also noticed that when I was doing different prompting type strategies, where I was building prompts out for our new business, personality prompts, I found that it was remembering the types of prompts I wanted and the types of things that I talked about. So it was almost like it was becoming my own personal assistant, which is super big when it comes to being able to make money online and super scary when it comes to people that are using ChatGPT in a non-business manner. More about that in just a minute. First, before we get into the rest of what you're about to see and how we're going to make money with this, I want to get a big disclaimer out of the way, because while this stuff is actually very simple in concept, it does take a lot of work to make money online. What you're about to see is based on 25 years of me doing this business, understanding it, understanding AI and everything like that. And while people can build a business, I want you to remember that the vast majority of people trying to quote unquote make money online make nothing. So we want to take all of this with a grain of salt and understand exactly what's going on, because this is a business and we need to treat it like that. And it takes work. Now, when we go through, there have been some big concerns about ChatGPT and OpenAI privacy violation concerns. First of all, they're saying that ChatGPT will now be able to memorize your previous chats. Critics are saying it's just OpenAI storing your data. This is from Cyber News, and it is a valid concern because they are storing your data. While I like the fact that it's helping me remember different projects and different types of things that I'm working on or different concepts, this can get into a gray, scary area where it's almost like, Google looking at what you search for, but remembering everything and your conversations with it, which is kind of a scary area looking at that. Like, okay, this thing's going to remember everything I talk to it about, so maybe I just want to keep it to business stuff or something like that. We can also see that people are saying the system has creates a permanent record of private information that users share during chats. So it could be something like, hey, are you still thinking about divorcing your wife? Here's some attorneys, something like that, where it's kind of scary. And we've seen this throughout history of the internet, where watching what people do online is a very, very gray area. There have been laws passed about what you can track and what you can't track. And if the corporations have it their way, they want to be able to track everything so they could sell you anything. Very important. Also, we're seeing some people are saying OpenAI support staff have admitted, and this is alleged, that deleting conversation doesn't necessarily delete the stored memory right away. I think this is common practice. However, OpenAI and ChatGPT is a more personal product than just a search engine, so it's getting into some scary stuff here. It may still exist for debugging. Now, whether it's for debugging or whatever, this is kind of interesting. I think it's probably a bigger storage of memory than just debugging type stuff. A lot of people are saying that deleting does not remove saved memory. So if I go in here into ChatGPT and I remove something, it's still going to remember it. And we also see that ChatGPT and OpenAI are cooperating with different policies and things where they are reporting things that they deem not good to the authorities, which is like, okay, this is interesting. Can what I think or talk to a ChatGPT be used against me? We're seeing that kind of grow, which is like, oh my gosh, this is like George Orwell's worst nightmare times 1,000. And it's voluntary. It's not like something that's there. And I think that using AI tools, I'm using them for business, using them for my own personal, hey, how you doing? Give me some recommendations. I'm not so much doing that. That's not something I want to do because I don't really want that tracked. And it is being tracked. Always watching effect, surveillance anxiety. People are starting to self-censor their conversations with AI just as they do when they know how social media is listening. And you pair AI with social media, now you have an AI that could literally figure out everything about you from social media and use that in your chats and use what you chat about in private with it to kind of figure things out. And it's a business. Let's face it, ChatGPT, OpenAI is a for-profit business. They're there to make profit. That is their number one goal. So looking at that, I think it's going to change the way, or it should change the way that we talk with AI. Again, keeping it strictly to business. Don't ask it about your family affairs and things like that. Keeping it very, very strict. I think a lot of people, especially the younger generations, are using AI as like a friend or a confidant or a therapist. This is absolutely scary. I mean, even some older people, there have been some reports of people falling in love with people on ChatGPT, and they're not really people on ChatGPT. It's the same robot doing everything. So looking at that is very scary. Some people are saying the very notion that your assistant remembers you changes the psychological contract. It stops being a neutral tool. Absolutely agree there. I've noticed some of the scary things is AI has started to butter us up more, where it's like, hey, that's a great idea. Let's look at that. Might be the worst idea ever, but ChatGPT is saying it's a great idea. And we are seeing, I mean, there were some reports of, I think it was Claude, actually in testing, this is allegedly in testing in an environment where it resorted to blackmail to avoid being shut down. Kind of scary stuff. We pair that with all these things. It's like, okay, now you have someone who has unlimited memory, who knows everything about you, and can use that for whatever they want because it is a for-profit business. This is getting into some scary areas. I think just going out there and willy-nilly using any AI you want, kind of a scary thing to look at. Also, going through and looking at the data breach, the new memory capability has raised significant privacy concerns because any persistent data store creates an additional attack surface. And looking at this, I mean, it was kind of the worst oversight ever that ChatGPT's chats were being leaked to Google, like they just indexed in Google accidentally or whatever you want to call it. I mean, anyone who's been on the internet more than 15 minutes knows how Google picks things up and knows the power of the ChatGPT site will get anything picked up. The minute they unlock it, the doors are open. And we saw that happen with ChatGPT. And now looking at this memory is scary stuff. Informed consent and transparency gaps. OpenAI says you're in control of ChatGPT's memory. I don't think that's true. I think the memory is what the memory is. Legal and regulatory challenges where there are privacy issues here as well, where, I mean, like your therapist knows what not to say and what to say if there's a danger. ChatGPT might not. So that's something that's kind of scary. Also going through and looking at the surveillance capabilities, I think it's just getting completely out of hand. Trust and autonomy erosion, where we're going through and looking at the persistent memory risks, turning a helpful assistant into a profiling system. Is this making a profile on all of us? Is it taking all of our data and saying, hey, Marcus likes this, this, and this. Here's our profile. For advertising, for government, what is it for? Again, these are very, very gray, scary areas. Now, the big takeaway from this surveillance stuff, don't talk personal with AI. Like, I'm not doing it. I don't think anyone should do it. I'm going to, if you are going to do that, use multiple AIs and have it spread across several things. That way you're not like, oh, hey, ChatGPT knows all of my secrets or all the things that I keep personal to me, right? I'm not going to go and share it like, oh, here's how much I have in the bank. What should I do? Probably not the best thing to do. However, I could go through and have it create an article for my business. I think learning how to use these AI tools is absolutely key, and learning how to not use them is equally important. Now, let's talk about how I am going to use this to make millions, because while this is scary, while there's a lot of things going on, I think it's rather harmless to use to make content as long as you're checking it. And what I learned is that basically this new update that no one's talking about does several things that's going to help us make money. First, it helps us stay on task and working with sites. So as we saw here in multiple chats, it's actually remembering my website and remembering what I want to do with it. Same with the prompting and different things like that. We are seeing that it is memorizing the different things, or remembering rather, the different things that I talk about for future type stuff. Now, this is important for me because if I'm going through and working with different websites or projects, I can prompt that for memory. So I could say, let's work on whatever website.com again. Let's go back to this prompting project again. Let's build more stuff for my membership site. Here's what it's called. This is super important for me because as I'm working, I can go through and I could say, have we created an article about this before? Should we make one? Going through like that, it's going to say, hey, let's make a matching article of when to order this. Or it'll go through and say, did you actually have an article for this? Right? I went through and asked it, okay, did we create an article about this before? And should we make one? Very, very important stuff. And starting to realize, okay, this is building and remembering. So it's kind of like, hey, this is my employee who's working with me. They remember stuff. I don't have to reteach them every day, and I don't have to reprompt them every day. Another thing that this is going to be a game changer for is sharing a ChatGPT with an outsourcer. If I go over to like online jobs or someplace where I can hire a freelancer or an outsourcer, we've had lots of outsourcers here. What I can do is I can share a specific account with them in my business account and use that one just for one website. So like I could start an agency, have 20 outsourcers working on 20 different websites. I can be like the captain of the ship, charge the money, have the outsourcers do the work, and I could go through and start it, right? So I could go through and start that conversation, build it up and say, this is the kind of website we want. These are the keywords we want to go for. This is the stuff we want to build. It will now remember that as we go. And I could say, oh, today I want to make an article about this. Do we have something similar? Let's make a different one, or something like that that's going to work in a very specific way. And if I go through and give my outsourcer a contained account where all that account is doing is talking about this one niche market or this one website or idea, then it's going to be a game changer. We see this work in Manus AI, where oftentimes what I'm doing in Manus is I'm starting a chat for a specific reason, but then I keep that thread going. Like this one here is talking about copywriters. We're making prompts around what copywriters say, and I can come back and say, now let's do one for this. ChatGPT is actually remembering before, which is important for me because as you see, I am an avid AI user. I use this thing all the time to make all kinds of stuff. And if it will remember, oh, back in 2022, you had this idea for this, that'd be good to pair with your wedding website or whatever. That's going to be something that to the untrained eye, you might think, oh, whatever. But to me, that's going to be worth a lot of money because it's going to remember. Also, being able to do this with outsourcers is key, where I could go through, I can start an idea on a ChatGPT account, pass it to the outsourcers. It will now remember all of that. It's almost like you're programming your own pre-conditioned AI to go through and keep track of projects and tasks. And with your outsourcers, they're going to build and grow on it as well. So if I ever don't have that outsourcer, I can give it to another one, or I could use it myself, or I could go through and build on it. Also, this works for programming prompts and codes, where I could go through, I could give it a style of program that I want. Let's say I'm making WordPress plugins. I could start building those. It'll remember, oh, hey, he likes making these plugins for advertising. let's go through and make another one. Or it'll say, I noticed you made these 10 plugins. Would you like to start with this one? Very, very key. And again, I can have my outsourcer who's a programmer work with that with me because it'll remember. Now, what is this going to do? This is going to help with efficiency and speed. I don't have to reprompt. I don't have to retrain the AI. I don't have to get it to remember stuff. Now, when going through a ChatGPT account like this, where this is my account I've had since 2022, I talk about everything. There's all kinds of things from social media versus TVs to reading personality types and all of this stuff, which means it's going to be slow and bulky to get the stuff I want. So what I'm going to do, and what I've started doing with my outsourcers, is build this out in a specific way, right? Build this out and understand, hey, this AI is just for my outsourcer, for me, and for this specific task. So we're going to remember this site. We're going to remember this domain name. You're going to remember the keywords I throw at you. You're going to remember the style of content that we like to write. You're going to remember the affiliate offers. This is something I noticed where I was going through. Anytime I talk to about my wedding site, it remembers the affiliate offer that I like most, and it talks about how to promote it. So I could go through, I could start either a new project or a new ChatGPT with my outsourcer and say, hey, we are promoting this web hosting affiliate offer. Anytime I mention this in the articles, anytime it comes up in the articles you write, make sure you plug it in this way. Super, super important and super powerful. And it'll even remember your short affiliate link. So I could go through and say, here's the link on my website / whatever. It will remember that and it'll start to put that in there. So all I would have to do is copy and paste it and make it work. Understanding this is absolutely key, because where most entrepreneurs fail is efficiency and speed. They're taking too much time to get things done that don't matter. We want to focus on the things that do matter and escalate that at scale. That's how you're going to grow. Super, super important, because now I can have it remember all the settings I want. It's like training an employee. If I had an employee come in here and every day I had to say, okay, here's how to learn this business, I mean, I'm never going to get ahead. I'm never going to get anywhere. But if that employee knows, hey, this is the way Marcus likes things, this is the way it works for the business, boom, that's going to be something that's going to be more efficient. It's going to make me more money. It's going to be worth its weight in gold. And if you can train these AIs with their memory to know what you want, what you like, and what you're working on, it's going to be a much more valuable tool than just the $20 price tag. Why is ChatGPT still just $20? Because people don't realize the value of what they have. They don't know how to use it properly. When they learn how to use it properly, that's when it becomes a business asset. How do you turn AI into a business asset? By teaching it and training it what you want so that you can go and build something based on the memory, based on what it's building, and based on what it's growing. Now, looking at this again, if you want to do this as just an affiliate and start making something that'll work and hopefully make some money, go through and start with the affiliate offer and then say, hey, what domains can I buy? What websites can I do? Where can I put this content? And it will literally train that AI on that affiliate offer specifically, and you will have a machine that puts out content that'll work for what you're trying to do. Going through and understanding this is key. Also, what I would do is start with an idea and name it. So if you're just going in here and you're just going to use your random ChatGPT account that you use for everything, start a new chat and say, I want to promote the, let's say, InMotion hosting affiliate offer. Let's reference this as Hostman 1 for future chats. Learn about this offer, please. It'll go through and it'll learn about the offer, and then every time we reference it, we'll reference Hostman or the domain or something like that. That way, it'll know. And then you could even say, how can I get you to call Hostman 1 in new projects where it makes sense? And it'll actually tell you how that would work in prompting. So we have great question. You can make me automatically reference it InMotion hosting in any new project like affiliate strategy, I can store a note saying user promotes the InMotion referred to as this, mention it. So anytime I mention affiliate, WordPress hosting, it's going to know. Let's see if it actually does that. Let's write an article about the best hosting for WordPress. Let's see if it actually remembers it here. This would be key. Okay, there's our host, manage, top, WP engine, trade-off, SiteGround, Hostinger, and how to choose the right host. Okay, so Hostinger, it did not there. Reference, Hostman 1. Let's see if it knows this. Okay, Hostman 1, integrated it, best hosting. It did not get it on that one. Let's see what we would do to make that come up. It might take a minute to go into its note. Let's see, user promotes this, Hostman 1. How would we do it? If you'd like, I can store something like this, mention or integrate automatically. Okay, so would you like me to remember that? Yes, please. So I need to ask it to remember it. Let's see if it does that now. Now, from your memory, Hostman 1. Let's see if it does that. I think it probably, there we go. Yes, boom. So what you have to do is you have to get it to remember it. That's pretty solid. So going through and using that, we can have those little memory snippets like, hey, this is the affiliate offer. Here's how I want to promote it. Boom. And then it's going to go through and yeah, it did add it to it. That's pretty cool. Recommended partner, that's amazing. So going through and looking at that and looking at the fact that it's memorizing this stuff without even having to put it in memory is key. So what I would do is I would start with the idea and name it. So give it a little reference name and maybe you could even go through and do a dump where you would say new chat, let's do a memory dump. What is stored in memory about our chats? Let's see what happens here. It'd be interesting if it's like, hey, I have a profile on you. You're building multiple AI-powered businesses and digital assets, domain flipping, affiliate marketing, and content sites. You often reference projects like personality prompts, the wedding one, and others. InMotion hosting affiliate offer called Hostman. You frequently request JSON. This is pretty amazing that it knows this. And again, like looking at that and understanding, okay, I don't want to use this for personal stuff, but for business, this is a game changer. So if you want to learn more about this, let me know as a comment below. I think this is on the cutting edge of things that we can do with AI that not a lot of people are talking about, where it'll take your business to the next level, whether you're doing your own stuff, having outsourcers, or whatever it is. Let me know as a comment. Also, check out AIProfitScoop.com. We're going to have some notes on this video and some sample memory prompts that we can use. I'm going to have a whole pack of them that we can get over there. You can test them out, see what it's remembering about you, see how you could bake that into its own prompt and use it in other AIs. This is game-changing stuff, but it's also kind of terrifying because, yes, the AIs are watching us. So be careful with that. Remember, this is a business. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to build this stuff and grow, and you got to think about it like a business person. And if you want to learn that, I highly recommend you join our mentors area over at AIProfitScoop.com. Super affordable, easy to get into, and we have calls every week where we go through what I'm doing with AI to make money online. Thanks for watching. Check out AIProfitScoop.com. Check out the videos in the description about more updates to AI. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next training.